Known for using an iron fist to take Death Row Records to its knees, Suge Knight was undoubtedly the most feared and influential hip-hop artist of all time. Eminem, however, never blinked in spite of Suge's reputation. This is the story of how it all started and why Eminem didn't respect Suge. Dr. Dre's departure from Death Row in the mid-1990s was the first step. Together with Suge Knight, Dr. Dre founded Death Row Records in the mid-1990s, producing groundbreaking albums including Snoop Dogg's Doggy Style and The Chronic. After they achieved success with Snoop Dogg and Tupac, Dre left Suge to launch Aftermath Entertainment a few years later because he was tired of Suge's harsh tactics. Suge was furious and worked to ruin Dre's career by stifling his achievements in the field. Eminem, a gruff Detroit rapper, was Dre's next big star in 1998. Suge started to target Dre when he signed Eminem. Aftermath saw a huge reversal after signing Eminem, which resulted in the release of the Marshall Mathers LP and the Slim Shady LP, further confirming Eminem's supremacy in hip-hop. The most notable instance was when Eminem came on stage to give DMX an award at the 2001 Source Awards. An audience gathered in front of him, and Suge Knight's thugs attempted to scare him. However, M remained steadfast. As he had done with other artists, this was the first indication that Suge was attempting to manipulate Eminem. Death Row's former biggest star, Snoop Dogg, also quit the label, which led to a lot of animosity. Suge's vicious nature was demonstrated when Snoop later alleged that Suge had paid someone to kill him. If Suge could target Snoop, then Eminem, Dre's new protege, could potentially be targeted as well. By the early 2000s, 50 Cent, who was at odds with Ja Rule and Murder Inc., had teamed up with Eminem and Dr. Dre. Suge, an ally of Murder Inc., showed up unexpectedly to the "In the Club" video shoot with a group of Blood Gang members. M, Dre, and 50 weren't afraid, despite the fact that it was perceived as an intimidation tactic. Eminem continued to return in spite of all these efforts to frighten and intimidate him. Songs like "Say What You Say" were subtle barbs at Suge, and once he was well established in the business, 50 Cent publicly disparaged Suge. Eminem's 2004 song, Like Toy Soldiers, directly addressed industry rivalry and its effects. Rap feuds that spiral out of control and turn into actual violence were discussed in the song. Eminem was all too familiar with this. Although Suge was not specifically mentioned in the song, it was obvious that M was aware of how dangerous these business feuds could get. Tupac's posthumous album Loyal to the Game was co-produced by Eminem in 2004. Given that Tupac was closely associated with Suge and Death Row at the time of his untimely death, this was a daring move. The album also showed that, despite the potential for backlash, Eminem was not scared to collaborate with musicians that had ties to Suge. The early 2000s saw Suge's influence wane. Suge suffered a string of legal issues, Death Row Records went out of business, and he was given a 28-year prison sentence in 2018. Eminem proved he didn't have to be afraid of Suge Knight, as he went on to become one of the most successful rappers in the world. What are your thoughts? Was Eminem simply in the right place at the right moment, or was he fearless? Leave a comment below.